This movie doesn't feel like it should exist, but it does exist. I don't know if we're better or worse people for it, but I'm not mad. I do have an idea, though. Let me explain. Welcome back, and once again, thank you for trusting me with your full spoiler movie review. That thing I do where I watch movies and then I tell you all about them. As always, I am unpaid and unsponsored. And spoilers. Spoilers, spoilers, all the spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, you can go ahead and scroll. I won't be offended. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Okay, here we go. From Blumhouse, this is M3GAN 2.0. Yes, I know it's called M3GAN, and I know Amanda the Jedi started the whole M3GAN craze, but ever since I heard her say it, I can't look at it any other way. Anyway, I think this might be Blumhouse's first not horror movie. Like, intentional not horror movie. Let's not talk about some of their other travesties. Anyway, it's been 2 years since the last AI fiasco. We're on the border of Turkey and Iran, which was probably not a great time to release this, but how the hell were they supposed to know? Anyway, some people are doing some dastardly things. They done brought in a woman who was taking photos and claimed to be a tourist, but surprise! She's not. She's an AI being run by the government. She's trying to track down some kind of scientist and bring him back by the order of the government. But then she went rogue and killed him and stealed like some sort of synthetic nerve agent. And they're like, oh shit, she's sentient, she's on the loose. Meanwhile, Gemma, the chick from the last movie, has gone on some sort of like AI regulation tirade, and now she's writing parenting books about children and technology. She has some little boyfriend who's also like leading the charge against AI and AI regulations and things like that. She still has like this little tiny lab with her two friends who didn't get exploded in the last movie. And they're still building things, like right now they're working on some kind of exoskeleton, but it's not AI. And even though she works in nonprofit and also her boyfriend works in nonprofit, they managed to get like this super fancy house, like super cheap. They even made a point of saying that. He's like, we both work in charity. How can we afford this fancy ass house with all these screens in it? And she's like, they just like me. Now she's big into setting limits now for children with technology, even though this house has a screen on essentially every fucking like wall in this house, and still has that little Elsie thing, which is like a Google Home, in every room, including her bedroom. But whatever. One night she's asleep, the TV flips on, she goes to turn it off, and it's like, don't touch that. We're trying to tell you something. And then come to find out there's some guys breaking into their house that looks like Splinter Cell, but apparently it's the FBI. Well, originally, Gemma tries to call 911, and guess who comes through the phone? Surprise! It's M3GAN! You know, because she wasn't dead after the last movie. She uploaded herself to the interwebs. Well, it turns out the guys who broke into the house and look like Splinter Cell are actually FBI, and then the head FBI guy who's over the little robot lady from the beginning, whose name's Amelia, went digging into the production of her and found the original, like, M3GAN project, even though they wiped it. And so they think, or how I interpreted it, was they think Jenna is working for China and is controlling Amelia to steal, like, government shit or whatever. So Gemma has to track down Amelia or go to federal prison. And Amelia's like, shit. And then once again, M3GAN comes through the whole house because the whole house is a smart house. She's like, let me fucking help. And Gemma's like, you tried to fucking kill me. And she's like, well, I, was mad at the time. So she uploads M3GAN into this cute little, like, Teletubby robot thing. And Gemma's gonna take M3GAN to this party from this guy who's kind of like Elon Musk, because he owns, like, half of the cloud in the U.S. And if we upload M3GAN into, like, the cloud or something, she can access Amelia, because Amelia has firewalls or some shit. I don't understand technology. But Amelia is also at this party, and she's hard to see because she can, like, change disguises and shit. And she kills the Elon Musk guy and steals, like, his technology, because he also makes technology. And that's the whole reason they know each other to begin with, is because he wanted to, like, absorb Gemma's company thing, because they're out of money and he's got a lot of it. Well, he made like a neuro transplant thing in the side of the brain. Y'all remember the chips that were like killing fucking monkeys last year? Yeah, anyway. Well, while they're at the party and everything and they're able to sneak in, M3GAN is able to trace like the neural networks in Amelia, but she has no like main objective or whatever. But it comes to find out that she's looking for, like, the original AI. M3GAN is apparently not the very first killer robot. The very first killer robot was made by this company called Xerox, which, it's Xerox, Jesus. Back in the 80s, they tried to make a smart printer or whatever that was automatically correcting mistakes on paperwork. And they're like, wow, this is amazing. So they tried to make a robot, but then it turned out to be too smart. So then they took it offline or shut it down or whatever and put it in a little box and kept it put away for 30 years. Well, apparently killer robots, while it's like put away for 30 years, get like super omnipotent. And that's the AI killer robot like family or whatever. Well, as it was, Gemma's dumb boyfriend used to run the security IT for the company that made the weird AI thing back in the 80s. And they were worried they were going to try to lure Amelia out using the boyfriend at some sort of like AI convention or whatever, which it worked. And at this point, M3GAN has a whole new body. It's pretty cool. She gets to dance. During which all this, the FBI is following Gemma around, and so when Gemma turns up at this AI expo, and there's the Chinese ambassador there and all this other stuff, they're thinking that she's trying to do deals, so they, arrest her in the building, but then Amelia stabs the FBI guy, so that solved that problem. But then Amelia stole Katie, the niece, and took her back to Xenox. So now they have to come up with a plan to get into Xenox that involved like climbing through vents and shit. And then there was some other stuff, and come to find out, surprise! The boyfriend is a major player in this anti-AI group. Like, their whole idea is to collect technology they think is too advanced and is too evil for the universe. Like the Neuralink and the exoskeleton and M3GAN. See, they first became aware of M3GAN when that little boss's assistant guy from the first movie that stole a bunch of shit from the M3GAN files brought it to their company or whatever, and they're like, oh shit. And there was a guy from, I think, Saudi Arabia who was trying to buy it or whatever. Well, they built Amelia as like a Trojan horse so that they could get in there and like yeet. So Amelia wasn't actually sentient AI all along. She was actually being controlled by the boyfriend until they shocked the shit out of her. But then she became sentient. So now we have two sentient robots, and the only one who can stop Amelia is M3GAN. Now here's the thing, Gemma has been so against M3GAN trying to help this entire fucking time that when she implanted some kind of chip that doesn't allow her to hurt people, doesn't allow her to swear either, then she put some sort of, it's kind of like a kill switch in there, in her arm, so that if M3GAN tried to kill people, that she could just like yeet her. Well, here we are. Amelia has opened the box on the original AI thing. It's become really powerful. Kind of looks like Zool from Ghostbusters 2. M3GAN detonates the thingy-mabobber. Kablooey. Gemma goes back to advocating for AI regulation, but M3GAN's not really dead. She's still in the cloud, and she can like talk to them and shit through the house. So she's not really gone either. But while all this was happening, they were talking about the morality and co-evolving of humans and AI, and M3GAN learning how to do things because it's the right thing as opposed to her prime directive or whatever. The end. Now, did I like it? It doesn't feel real. Do y'all remember watching Tropic Thunder and they give you like 3 different previews for movies that aren't really movies? That's how this feels, except it's a movie. This feels like something they would play at the premiere on Drake and Josh. Doesn't mean I hated it, it just doesn't feel real. But it gave me an idea. So you know how Mission Impossible is completely done now? And we now have an established superhero in M3GAN? Hear me out. What if a lot of action movies for the next year or so should be starring M3GAN? Not The Rock, not Jason Statham, not Tom Cruise. M3GAN could be the next superhero. And we'll just make it as normal as possible, and nobody's going to question anything. Because I think everybody's kind of over The Rock in action movies, and Jason Statham in action movies, and everybody's always complaining, oh, these are all the same. So let's put M3GAN in there. I'd watch that shit. The Beekeeper, but it's M3GAN? A Walk Among the Tombstones? I don't know what that's about. I didn't see. But you see where I'm going with this. We have the technology. I'm going to give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's weird, but I'm not mad at it. 7.5 out of 10. Okay, bye.